So our annual, as I said, our annual journey to your awards qualification. Every year, this time of year, and you know, you'll get up to 20, 30 Oscars.
Oh, yeah.
She's completely covered up. It's horrifying.
Aw.
In this part, you actually fought for, no?
Well, I didn't. I think it's been made to sound like I'm so much more aggressive than I am, and that it was much more of a sort of, you know, me tearing after with some sort of ruthless ambition, which was not the case at all. I knew that I knew they were making the film, and I knew that they had another actress in mind. But I just wanted to meet John Patrick Shanley. Not only because I'm such a big fan of his work in general, but because I did know they were making this film, and so I told him that I was going to be in New York and flew myself out there. And these are practices that are completely above board. He knew why I was there.
Well, John told us the story, actually.
Oh, yeah,
so,
it was
and
really
tea,
fun.
not coffee. So
yes, it was tea and cupcakes. I mean, it couldn't have been more benign. But yet, it's been. The headline grabber is like, Amy Adams ruthless to get the role in Doubt, and it's like, really? But I'm always someone who lets my when I like a role, I want the person making the film to know if there's an opportunity that I'd love to at least talk to them about it.
Wasn't that part of the job of being an actress?
Yeah.
Is letting your people know what's going on out there? Not
Exactly.
Just kind of waiting for your agent to call you and say, here's a job?
Exactly. But I was really passionate about it, and I did continue to ask if
because you had seen the show, or because you read the script?
I'd seen the play and I read the script, and you know, I just, sometimes you just feel it as an actress. You feel it in your gut when you. I felt I was supposed to do it. It sounds so silly, but I felt that way about Enchanted and Junebug. There are certain ones that you just sort of go, I really, you know. And there are, of course, ones you feel that you want to do and you don't get them, and you have to sort of deal with loss constantly.
So what is it about her that drew you in, Sister James?
There's so many things. It was, I love the innocence of that era. And it was such a transition period in the church, in America. In Catch Me If You Can, I played a character that was sort of coming out of her innocence in that time as well. And it's American history is one of my favorite, you know, things to study. And so to get to play her in that time, in that situation, and she's such a beautiful soul. You know, she's such a believer, and she's so faithful, and that's something I'm always attracted to, is playing people who are so conflicted by their quest for goodness, you know, and for and idealistic and good.
Well, John was saying how complicated the detail work was of this particular role, that more so the other two roles are kind of this big tight-end roles, and here was Sister James in the middle, who really had to kind of walk the line through the entire piece to not kind of fall on either side. Yes.
It was very, very difficult. I don't know if he told you this when we were in rehearsals, and I was like, okay, kind of, you know, juicing the role and figuring it out. I was like, John, she's so much more difficult than I thought she would be. You know what I mean? So much more complex and so much more. There was just so much more to her situation than I think upon reading the first time, or even seeing the play, than I understood there to be. And he says, "Oh, it's funny when I get emails all the time from people doing the play around the country, and it's always Sister James." And I'm like, because she's so difficult, you know. But ultimately, one of the most rewarding experiences.
Did he bring in the real Sister James? I mean, not bring her in physically, but did he bring in the issues, his relationship and his sense of the real Sister James in discussing it with you, or?
No, well, only in the sense of her innocence, not in the sense of the conflict, in the sense of her passion for teaching, her embracing nature. So when I met the real Sister James, Sister Peggy, it did help inform the characters, embracing nature and her spunkiness. You know, I got the little claps I do. That's not just me trying to be sort of cute. It's something that I saw Sister Peggy do. You know, she's someone, when she gets excited, she claps. You know, she's even now, I don't know if you've gotten to see the interviews, she is full of it, you know? She just has so much energy and so much zest, you know? And it was so fun to get to meet her and to see that.
And is it working with a team that you were working with Phil on one side and Meryl on the other? Is that intimidating for you?
Yeah. When you even like if you had Phil and Meryl here,
either one of them. I like Phil, but I'm still intimidated by him.
I love both of them, and I'm still intimidated. I think it's they're so warm that any intimidation was brought purely by my own desire to be a good scene partner, to give them as much as they were giving me.
We had 3 weeks of rehearsal together. So, I mean, I know that Ms. Streep has said that she doesn't stay in character outside of the moment of the work.
No.
I know Phil sometimes lingers. And where are you on that? Do you stay with Sister James the entire time you're in rehearsal, or do you kind of jump in and out depending on the moment? Or
I typically jump in and out. I find it very useful for me to be able to do that, just so I can then get outside of her and sort of be a little more analytical as to, with this, sometimes I like to just stay in character as much as possible, but this also, there's a specific, I felt that there was a specific purpose in Sister James' character, so it was always important to step outside and make sure that I wasn't just sort of feeding myself as an actress and getting a moment in, you know, that I was being very truthful to what this moment needed to tell the story we were telling. And so for me it was really important to step outside of Sister James in order to be a little more analytical than maybe I would be, you know, in Enchanted, although I was surprisingly very analytical in that character.
Well, do you have a method that you've created? Do you have a method that you stick with, or do you kind of...
I do. You know, it's sort of a lot bits and pieces from different people over the years, and then I had a really great coach in Los Angeles, Warner Laughlin, who helped me take myself out of it, and that was, for me, that's when it all clicked.
What does that mean?
I was very protective as an actress, and I felt very vulnerable to cry or to scream or to, you know, really get in. Like, I was very comfortable doing comedy, but I couldn't kind of click into that dramatic truth. It was just too scary for me. And I think it's because I was trying to use my own stuff. And once she really gave me the tools to create a life and an experience for my character, that's when it clicked in for me. Because then it was the character. It was all about the character, and I took my own ego out of it, and that was when I got it. You know, I was like, oh, okay. You know, because you think, I want to feel this I, and it became about me, and then it was just too vulnerable a place.
So was doing something like Enchanted different when you did it than the way you would have done it 5 years earlier?
Oh, yes.
The whole effort, the whole experience of making it for you?
Yes. Very, very different.
Because you saw it through different eyes, or because you were more open, less open?
Way more open. Yeah, a lot more open.
So how about something like this? Was it easier to, I mean, is it easy to be there while you're doing this story? Is it easy to be in those scenes and kind of find your way, to navigate your way through them? Or are you aware of the details as you're doing them, or just loose?
You try to stay loose. I mean, there's definitely, I think that's the advantage of the rehearsals, is that you sort of get the mechanics of the scene out of the way. So you know, okay, I have to pick up the teapot. It doesn't become about picking up the teapot, you know, like, it's...
John thought it was like you need to know your line, not you particularly, but that part of the rehearsal for him was that everybody should know their line so well that they didn't have to think about it when they're on the set.
Yeah, there's not a lot of ad-libbing on Doubt. It was, we all had a lot of respect for the words, and it was a word-for-word situation, you know, so... Is
John a hand-holder on the set, or is he kind of
when
let you
you
go?
need him to be. If you ask him to be, he will be, but he puts faith in you, and I think that's Good directors do that.